what's going on, guys? This is Miss and welcome to my virtual world deck profile. Pretty much the most competitive one I've made in a while. Actually, this deck is definitely tier 1. And I want to say, as long as our very fun dragon exists, this deck is going to be probably still number 1. I mean, you can argue that Drytron and Eldritch are still extremely good, but unfortunately this deck is way too consistent, plays through hand traps way too easily. If you haven't watched my combo video, make sure you do, because it's pretty interesting actually. Shows you 5 different combos on how to play through hand traps. So yeah, I mean, before I start, friendly reminder to like and subscribe, because it really makes me more motivated and quite happy to make these videos. It's definitely a pleasure, and let's get right into it. So for the hand traps, I'm playing 9, which I feel like is a pretty respectable number. And I really wanted to go for an in-between hybrid of anti-combo and protection for myself. So this is interesting, and I feel like a lot of people could probably argue with this lineup. The thing with the virtual world and just the thing with hand traps in general is that it's really hard to find like a perfect lineup of hand traps. So Nibiru is usually the kind of card that you're trying to play if people are, I guess, trying to go ham on their boards, and expect people not to main deck Nibiru, because that is definitely a mindset thing. They kind of just tell themselves, oh yeah, but since most decks don't lose to Nibiru, I'm just going to not really care too much about Nibiru, since I don't think people are gonna main deck it, so I'm just gonna, you know, kind of play into it, and then yeah, when you do have the Nibiru, they kind of lose to it. And then Ash is just kind of universal, so there's nothing for me to say here. And Gamma is really interesting because if they only have one VFD, if you Gamma, you can actually hold it for your own turn, and then, yeah, they can't really go like Chooch Pop themselves. And since you can draw Gamma for turn and it actually has function, well, I mean, that's gonna be even better. And if you Gamma on your own turn, actually, it's disgusting because Driver is a level 6 non-tuner, and of course, we already know what a level 6 non-tuner means. It means that you can go into rank 6 plays, synchro plays, and all of that stuff. So Gamma, on the other hand, if it was a level 3 tuner, would have been a bit disgusting. You would have been able to make Shen Shen for like no reason, but still, don't worry about that. The Driver is actually the card that you're using, so it's actually funny how literally everything in this deck has value. Like, Desires into double Desires isn't that bad, which is hilarious, because King Long actually gets rid of the second one, and then Zhuang Hu gets rid of the third one, so it really isn't the end of the world. Anyways, that's it for the hand trap lineup, so 9 and then the Gem Knight Garnet. Well, it's technically a Taketamborg. Anyways, the virtual world monster lineup, I don't feel like I have to explain anything, really. I mean, who actually goes and like in their deck profile and says like, yeah, I'm playing 3 Lily, 3 Lao Lao, 3 Lulu, 3 Nyan Nyan, and 3 GG. Literally everyone and their mother plays the exact same thing. The only kind of variation is sometimes you see them play 2 Nyan Nyan with 1 Tutu. You can do that if you want to. Hey, that rhymed. But I don't really see I guess the benefit. I don't feel like Tutu's a great card. I mean, it's a normal summon that is worse than Nyan Nyan, if anything. You have to specifically discard, I think, a virtual world monster or something like that, or a psychic or worm. I forgot, but it's not that great. It's a level 6. It becomes a bit clunky and awkward. Nyan Nyan is just overall better. And then I guess, yeah, the other ones are just kind of, they're already stapled 3-ofs, mandatory, you're not even going to argue. They all have their just necessary usage. So Lily is like a foolish on crack, Lao Lao is a monster reborn, Lulu is a searcher, Nyan Nyan is a card that revives itself, and that it's also kind of like the exception to the rule. It's the only one that doesn't have like the effect from the hand. Same thing with Tutu, and then the GG is a recursion. It's a Skarm from your graveyard, basically. And then the Kowloon, also a 3-of, so I don't really have to explain too much there. It pretty much activates either King Long, Chuche, or technically Zhuang Hu, but I mean, when are you activating Zhuang Hu? Like, never. You really want to change the battle position of a monster? Oh my gosh. And yeah, Chuche is obviously the one that you're always going to go into, but King Long actually has its usage when you're trying to go, you know, second against like a Winda, for example, El Shadol, and you're just trying to negate it, so there's that. And then 3 Desires, I already said how broken Desires was, so it's not even like this deck was that much of a problem for budget players, because the Pot of Prosperity isn't even needed. Like, the Desires is objectively better. Disparity definitely is cool, but I don't know. I feel like in this deck, since it's already quite consistent and you're already playing so many 3-ofs, you never really feel heavily punished for playing Desires and resolving it banish 10, unless you're actually resolving 2 Desires in one game. That's the one way you lose. But Disparity, I don't know. It's a 1-for-1. It's kind of fair. It clashes with Desires. It also clashes, I guess, with Ravenous Crocosaur and Stardust Charger, even though that doesn't matter too much, honestly. But yeah, Called by the Grave, this allows you to negate Lancia, which is ridiculously important, and other stuff too. So there's that. And also Ash on your Lulu, that sometimes can actually be terrifying, or Ghost Bell on the Lao Lao. You can get Ghost Bell on that, by the way. And then Emergency Teleport when you're playing like 6 billion Psychics. Well, I mean 2, but... well, 6. You get the point. 3 King Long. Okay, 2 Chooch, that's the one thing I kind of have to explain a tiny bit, but not really. You can play 3 if you want. I guess in the OCG, they've always been doing 2 and 1. But, I mean, there's no rule that forces you to play a 40-card deck if you want. You can literally play a 41-card deck, it won't matter. All you have to say is just say, like, oh yeah, Driver is my 41st card, or Pot of Prosperity is my 41st card. So, if you want to cut the Disparity for a 3rd Chooch, not only is that more budget-friendly, but also that's just, yeah, that's just more budget-friendly. Anyways, extra deck. Christian Quarion Condrax. Yes, I did it, Mom. I managed to pronounce this card with only like 7 mistakes. It's a Quarion Gandrax. Hey, give me a break, okay? The materials are 2 or more tuners with 1 non-tuner. It's a level 9 monster, and we love that, because, I mean, the deck can't really do anything other than level 9, level 6, level 3 plays. Well, level 3, rank 3 Xyz, not level 3 Synchro. That would be sketch. In before Chooch actually gets an errata, so you can actually reduce the level 3 monsters, so your tuners or non-tuners become level 0, and you can actually make level 3 synchros, but no, it's sadly not Happy Land. Quarion Condrax is really nice. It also has synergy when it is destroyed by Chooch, and also when it is summoned, it's pretty much gonna banish a lot of cards your opponent controls, or in the graveyard. Unfortunately, it does target, so that's the one thing I have to say, but it's still a really fantastic card. 3,000 attack, 3,000 defense, really solid stats. It's not a rock, unfortunately. I can't really say solid rocks. Anyways, Shen, no shit. No, obviously, Xiaofeng, Vermilion Dragon Mech, I mean, all of these are staple. Ravenous Crocosaur, Double Cloud Castle, obviously. You really want that recursion, so you always have, you know, your VFD back. The fact that VFD is a staple at 2 in a deck, and it's realistic to summon 2 in 1 turn, not even like, oh wow, you sacked, you drew really good. It almost feels average. It's really that pathetic, but yeah. Anyways, Juju is actually a really nice card. When you're under VFD and Chuchi from your opponent, what you can do is actually end on defense position Juju, and now your opponent is actually forced to either make a Fan or Constellar Ptolemy M7 in order to out it, because it's indestructible by battle or by card effects, so it kind of is a problem. It is really annoying to deal with, but at the same time, yeah, I guess they also have Guarion Gondrax and other stuff in Zeus, so... I mean, it's not like your opponent was gonna sit in front of a Juju for like 10 turns, but if it at least gives you some, I guess, floatability or stability defense, because otherwise all of your monsters just instantly die and you have like no plays, but this is the one play that you do when you're under VFD. And then Charger Warrior, whatever. This, ironically, has its use against prank kids. When they float, like with, when they fusion summon to summon all of their guys, you can make a charger, like Stardust Charger Warrior and attack over every single one of them, but the main play is actually just to make a Fortune Shun, because it really can't be, like, destroyed. All you have to do is just detach material, and also cannot be targeted, so dealing with this card is actually an absolute nightmare. So if you have 2 level 3 monsters on your field, your opponent is already forced to use all of his, well, I mean, at least an interruption to destroy a card or bounce a card or banish a card or whatever, which means that Fortune Shun just existing is already a threat to your opponent, which is crazy. And yeah, Zeus double VFD, Fan, really good card, and then Bamboozling Gossip Shadow. That's pretty much it for the extra deck. For the idea section, these are cards that you could technically main deck too. So Artifact Lancia is really good in the mirror. I already kind of just explained so much why Lancia is insane against Virtual World. No Desires, no Prosperity. no Chuchi from the graveyard, no King Long from the graveyard, no Zhuang Hu from the graveyard, and on top of that, the Chuchi on the field won't be able to pop next turn because there's no way you can actually get cards in the banish. So if you shotgun this on draw phase or standby, the game's over because Desires has a 33% chance to be drawn and you won't be able to use it. However, there is Gamma, so maybe you have to time your Lancia, maybe, that could be interesting. If your opponent has Foolish Goods especially, and he just goes Foolish Goods first, that's kind of scary, because you really have to use that Lancia, because otherwise the King Long resolving is pretty much gonna be enough, and then they won't really care about the Lancia anymore. But then if you do it and they do have the Gamma, feel like it becomes the exact opposite. Now all of a sudden you lose even though you weren't supposed to because you have the blowout. You know what I'm trying to say. Anyways, X-Saber Gothams and Enter Blatnir if you're trying to go for the hand loop route. This is probably gonna be, I don't know if this is gonna be the go-to or Negation Turbo is gonna be the go-to if in case like VFD gets banned. There's also ways to make like Dragoon. And it's funny because when I say that, you might be like, no, but you can't make Link monsters in the deck. I never said Link summon Anaconda into Dragoon, so you won't be playing Red Eyes and Dark Magician, but you'll be playing Muddy Mudge Dragon, and you're actually gonna be legitimately synchro summoning, which is hilarious. But yeah, anyways, Pot of Prosperity again if you want to. Monster Reborn, Tactic Talents is that kind of card that I feel like you always have to side. It's really, really good against anything that plays Zodiac, because against like Drancia, you steal the Drancia and then you make Zeus, and then you get rid of their back row like that, so it's actually gigantic against them. And then, yeah, Foolish Goods and Cosmic Cyclone if you really want to. So, yeah, that's all I had to say in Showcase for this beautiful virtual world deck profile. If you guys have any questions or feedback or suggestions, whatever, definitely let me know in the comment section below. I really hope you guys enjoyed. And, yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace!